everyone, my name is Allison and I did my real life leader presentation on RuPaul Andre Charles. RuPaul was born on November 17th, 1960 in San Diego, California, where he lived to grow up through the beginning of his teenage years. After being kicked out of high school at age 15, he moved to Atlanta, Georgia to study performing arts in music and filmmaking. His love of dress-up and performance soon led to his interest in drag and the beginning of his legacy. Drag, for those of you who do not know, is defined as dressing up differently than your everyday gender for performance and expression. In 1987, RuPaul took the move to New York City, where he continued his drag queen career in local bars. This brief background leads us to a summary of the highlights RuPaul has had in his career thus far to provide more context into who he is as a person and a leader. In 1993, alongside drag, RuPaul released his first single, Supermodel, You Better Work, launching the start of regular releases of music in his career. Due to the widespread attention his single received, following soon after, RuPaul signed a contract with MAC Cosmetics for their new Viva Glam lipstick product line. I will go into this in more detail in a little bit. This also led to his appearance in several movies and TV shows, both in and out of drag. These included the movies Crooklyn, The Brady Bunch Movie, and But I'm a Cheerleader, and even his own talk show, The RuPaul Show, that ran for 2 seasons beginning in 1996. RuPaul's career only continued to grow throughout the early 2000s. His presence in the LGBTQ+ community and the growth of his fame led to the beginning of the world-renowned show, RuPaul's Drag Race, that has now run for 15 consecutive seasons with no end in sight. Up until this point in the presentation, I can understand if it may seem as though RuPaul is a celebrity focused on glitz and glamour, but I promise you that there is so much more that is hidden behind the beauty and the glam that is portrayed. RuPaul presents the characteristics, in my opinion, of both a charismatic and transformational leader. Charismatic leaders, as we know, motivate, inspire, and promote passion for their mission. They also hold the trait of idealized influence, which is when they make sacrifices to set examples and increase follower-leader identification. Transformational leaders have similar characteristics, while promoting trust in their leader-follower relationship, coaching, and inspiring others. Let's revisit the briefly mentioned contract with MAC Cosmetics. The lipstick line, Viva Glam, was established in 1994 with a focus of raising awareness and fundraising for HIV and AIDS programs. With RuPaul as the first spokesperson for this product line, this marked the first time a drag queen was ever the face of a mainstream makeup company. In this campaign, media was posted with RuPaul in drag stating, "I am the MAC girl," as seen on the left side of the screen. In times where LGBTQ persons were targeted and at risk because of the HIV and AIDS epidemic, RuPaul's courageousness and leadership was a huge step towards bringing the acceptance to the members of the drag community. As of 2019, this campaign raised over $500 million to fight AIDS and is still present today. But I truly believe that this is only the beginning of RuPaul's influence as a leader. In 2009, as stated before, RuPaul began his show, RuPaul's Drag Race, a competition show held in search of America's next drag superstar. Although I can admit it is a campy reality TV show, within the competition and humor, there are countless examples of RuPaul's continuous impact on the LGBTQ+ community and drag community, as well as the world. Within the competition, RuPaul does everything he can to create a space that inspires every contestant to deliver nothing but excellence and passion in their work. He consistently shows the care and support he invests in each drag queen that results in the empowerment of those in his presence. Whether voting a contestant off a show or encouraging those who are present, he makes it a point to treat individuals who are usually seen as underdogs in society as nothing but beautiful and important. For example, throughout the competition, it is expected that the drag queen who will win will portray nothing but charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, pushing the contestants to strive for the best version of themselves. While telling one drag queen to sashay away, RuPaul stated, "You might doubt yourself, but to me, you are a star. Giving positive reinforcement to those who are faced with insecurities when being voted off. Finally, each episode wraps with RuPaul saying, if you can't love yourself, then how in the hell are you going to love anybody else? Promoting the importance of self-love and self-belief. Yes, again, RuPaul is the host of a campy TV show filled with humor, drama, and glam, but looking deeper at the meaning behind it all, as shown in these quotes, just proves the presence of his leadership characteristics. After some context of RuPaul's career history, it is clear he presents characteristics of both charismatic and transformational leadership. In the MAC campaign, as discussed, RuPaul acted and led using idealized influence. The sacrifice he took being a controversial face of a makeup campaign kick-started the acceptance of those in the community and increased follower identification with him as a leader. In RuPaul's TV show, Drag Race, he takes the time to coach, inspire, and allow for trusting relationships with his followers. He motivates and pushes his followers to love and be the best versions of themselves. You can see I've listed some ways that RuPaul pertains to these two leadership types. As stated, charismatic leadership, he motivates individuals, he is vulnerable with his followers, and he promotes passion and enthusiasm for not only the art of drag, but life itself. And as for transformational leadership, he inspires followers to be true to themselves, coaches drag queens to be the best they can be, his followers trust him, and he has high expectations for the drag queens. To go a step further, I have found several quotes that I think further represent the leadership qualities of RuPaul. The first quote, "Glamour should be accessible to all, and I am committed to helping the world look and smell more beautiful." He said this during the release of his unisex perfume, saying that whether female or male, anyone should be able to express themselves how they want to. The next quote, "The amount of respect you have for others is in direct proportion to how much respect you have for yourself," relates back to what he says at the end of each episode, as I mentioned. If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anybody else? Going along with this, he states, "Own who you are and celebrate it." He does everything he can to promote self-love and the importance of staying true to yourself. The last quote, "Negativity is basically laziness. It takes a lot of hard work to remain positive, but positivity always pays off." This shows that he is motivated to spread positivity in everything he does, highlighting his motivating and inspiring characteristics. With all of this context of the presentation in mind, I truly think it can be easily stated that RuPaul Andre Charles has been and will continue to be an effective, charismatic, and transformational leader to many people, especially the LGBTQ+ community. I would like to make a little side note that in the middle here, there's a picture of his new memoir coming out very soon, just in about 7 days on March 5th. I do wish it was coming out earlier, as I'm sure that there would be some great nuggets of information on there that I could have used, but maybe I will write a little update in the comments once I do read it. All in all, I chose to present on RuPaul as my leader for this presentation because I feel as though people may not immediately jump to this being a description of him. Although he has not held conventional leadership positions, he has been and will continue to be a staple for the LGBTQ+ community. His show and personality are humorous and campy, but he has always shown a way of being unapologetically himself in and out of the spotlight and encouraging others to do the same. In a world where LGBTQ+ individuals, or anyone who is outside the norm, the importance for people like RuPaul to lead and promote acceptance is as prevalent now as it ever has been. I'll close out this presentation the same way RuPaul closes out Drag Race.
If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else? If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
Thank you all for listening.